What is up, guys? It is Lifted, and in today's video we're making a return to our Cracked series where we bust open a graded card and send it back in, or in this case a crossover, to see if we can get a better grade. And when we submitted a lot of these cards, we were trying to get some pristine 10s and black labels, but Beckett is pretty harsh on their grade scale, and a lot of them came back 9s. But they all look to have PSA 10 potential. So I'm going to go ahead and crack these open. And this will be the first time we've cracked a Beckett slab, so it'll be a bit interesting, a bit of our first-hand experience with this. And we might struggle, like you see with this Zapdos here, but we eventually get them all open and send them back in. And if you've seen some of our graded returns content, a lot of those cards you saw will now be featured, and I'll reveal the grade once we get the card out. So pretty excited for today. A bit of a learning process. And back to this method we kind of figured out for the Beckett cards is you don't want to put that screwdriver on the plastic side where the logo is. You want to get it to the side where the label's leaning towards, and there'll be a bit of wiggle room for you there to pop it open safely. And yeah, that's probably the best way to handle it. And then once you get your screwdriver in there, you make sure the top half is popped off, and then you can lift the top case from the bottom one and separate the card. So there you go. And hopefully this will be a bit more educational kind of content for you guys. And if you enjoy what you see today, we'll probably have a few longer videos coming in the future. Got a few that we're working on here. So yeah, quite a bit of cards getting regraded, especially with some of these bigger orders we're getting back. But as for what we're looking at right now on this Zapdos, it had a 9.5 centering with 9 and 10 corners and edges, and then 9 surface. So they found some sort of print line on this card, and it looks so nice. So it's got to pass that PSA eye appeal test. And with 60-40 centering, you'll have a pretty good shot at getting that PSA 10. So yeah, the grading is subjective, and these companies have two very different standards. And we do have another regrade here, getting notifications on eBay. Actually been doing pretty good on eBay, so if you guys have bought a card from me, I appreciate you guys. My PSA 1 Typhlosion T17 sold lately. Wow, even those lower grades be selling for a pretty good premium. PSA 1s, huh? Okay, so I do remember this one having a print line, but let's see if we can even see it. Not really. Like, it is so hard to find the flaws that Beckett docks so bad for. We got a 10, so 2 upgrades already. What a nice win. I almost thought that small cloud was a print line at first, but no, that's part of the artwork. So, yeah, really nice looking card. I don't know why Beckett's so harsh sometimes, but if a card like this got a black label, it would have totally been worth sending to Beckett, and to at least attempt it on a card that looks that nice. It does warrant the extra $15, $16 it took to send to Beckett. And for this next card, we got a Tyranitar here, and it's got 10 centering, so this had pretty good potential sending to Beckett for a black label or pristine, but it looks like they found some other flaws because it also had 9.95 for corners and edges, and then 9 surface, meaning there was another print line. And yeah, definitely not very noticeable flaws, but they look at these cards under intense magnification, and I'm sure PSA also does that too, but it's just like, if it passes the eye appeal test and these are flaws that you can't see with the naked eye, then they'll let a lot of these flaws like slide, and you'll get the PSA 10. So in this case, very strong looking Tyranitar card. And I'm finally getting to some of these type of videos that I get some questions about, because we've been having some people asking in our comment section about our process, or at least some advice for if they should crack a card. So if your card looks really strong and you can be very careful cracking it open, if you disagree with your grade, sometimes it's worth the chance. So that's what we're doing today. And yeah, that's a really nice looking Tyranitar, and hopefully we can do a little better at PSA. So if it stays a 9 when I crack it open, maybe it goes to Beckett. Maybe it's not worth cracking that many times, but it will deserve a retry. And speaking of retries, this was previously graded a Beckett 9. And that means like there was a print line or something really small. Beckett likes to micromanage condition here. And now that we're on Japanese, just look at how much that pops versus like the English version. Maybe the ridges on the English cards like look nice too in a way, but to be able to have so many of the components on the card pop like this, it can't be denied. Japanese is way better. Oh man. And we did it. Yes, we upgraded from a Beckett 9 to a PSA 10. So there might be like the smallest like white dot on the back in addition to the print line. But with PSA, if the print line that's on the card is so hard to see and does not affect the eye appeal, they'll still let it slide and give you the PSA 10. So I'm really happy about that. That's a huge win. That's going into the personal collection for sure. And yeah, so far so good. And up next, we got this Mewtwo from Shining Legends. And this is a really strong grade as you look along the subgrades until you see the surface. And this had some print dots on the back that, you know, were dismissible to an extent. Like, it's kind of the identity of the type of card that they printed for this set, because almost all the cards had print dots like that. And considering the perfect centering, well, damn near perfect centering, it had 9.5 centering, 9.5 edges, 10 for the corners, and unfortunately they gave it an 8 for the surface. So that had a lot of potential. So hopefully PSA can give it a better grade. Oh, and speaking of cracked, this was a previously graded a Beckett 9, so a regrade special today, huh? Okay. Shining Legends. Pretty expensive card in a PSA 10, but what will it get? Oh, I mean, the value probably stays about the same as in a 9, but it's just unfortunate. The centering was so nice. The surface is fine, centering is fine, but the back surface was not fine. So if you can catch this in the right light, I did have a concern. Let's see if I can, yeah. So there's these small, very small print dots that you can't seem to get off. I tried to clean the card, but yeah, just the microfiber cloth would just not get these print dots on. So it's definitely on the card itself. So a little unfortunate, but I would have liked this in a PSA 10. It got a Beckett 9 as well, so I guess this is where it stays. I don't know if it'll get much better than that, so at least we tried, and still a really nice card regardless. So. And unfortunately, it looks like we struck out on that last one, but at least as a PSA 9, it'll fit in with my other Shining Legends cards for my PSA set, and that'll be how it stays for a while. Maybe it's something that might be worth cracking in the future, but so far so good with our returns. We have a pretty good success rate at this, and maybe you learned a thing or two. Check out some of our other videos. I'll make a playlist for this series that we're working on here, because there'll be a few more coming out soon. And if you like this type of content, stick around, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time. And we out of here. Peace.